Okay, let's start just in 2 seconds. Hello, everyone.
So,
Oh, there's still a few more people.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello, teacher.
hello. Okay, so today we're going to look at backward design. Okay, so objectives. Participants will be able to explain the process of backward design and evaluate goals. So we are happy you are here. If you are late or have technical issues, please join the conversation as you are able to. Mute yourself when you are not talking, but please remember to unmute yourself when you do want to talk. We want to be able to hear everyone. Please complete the pre-session interactive slides and the post-session feedback form. This will help us revise and develop course content. If you have questions or technical issues during the session, please send a message in the chat box indicating so, or email us at info@hettgroup.com. Okay. So my name is actually, I need to keep remembering to change this back. So my name is Lisa Vance, and I will be leading this training. Maybe. No. So I'm from Canada. I previously was in Myanmar, and I was doing some teacher training and some English teaching in Myanmar. And I will be facilitating the class today. My co-host is Kathleen, and she designs the slides. So Kathleen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Kathleen Greiwe. Like Lisa said, I help design the slides for these sessions. I have done some teacher training in Mexico, and I currently work as an English and Spanish teacher in the US.
Okay. How well do you understand backwards design? A little bit, or sorry, not at all, a little bit, somewhat, quite well, or extremely well. So on the count of 3, can you show me the number of fingers? Or you can type in the chat box. So 1, 2, 3. How well do you understand backwards design? 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, excellent. Let me just take a look at the chat. 2, 2, 3. Okay, good. So just to ask you, and you can answer in the chat or you can tell me, what are some of your personal or professional goals? Do you have any personal or professional goals, like 5-year goals, 10-year goals, 1-year goals?
my personal goal is to be a productive and eligible teacher.
Okay, good.
Professional goal is professional goal is I want to learn about the molecular genetics in my further study.
Okay. Oh. Anyone else? Does anyone else have any personal or professional goals they would like to share? Okay. Okay, just a reminder from last week, what is outcome-based education?
Focus on the results of students learning after the learning.
Yes.
Outcome-based education focus on the results of after learning. What
Definitely.
will be the student able to do? What can we do?
Yes, definitely. So yeah, I have here, education should be centered on what the students will be able to do at the end of a unit, course, or program. So you're looking at what they can do at the end. So this is a very broad philosophy. We looked at one kind of type one model last class, but it is a very broad kind of concept with different models. And today we're going to kind of look at backwards design. So it's kind of a way of thinking about this. So does anyone know what is backwards
Focus,
design?
focus on student desire or student needs.
Yeah, so it's looking at the end goal for your course. So what's the end goal for your students? And then based on the end goal, you work backwards to think about how you can then assess for that end goal, and then what activities can you then make or add to reach that end goal. So you think of your end goal first, and then you work backwards. So it's a process to design units and courses, and you start with the end goal in mind. And the history of backwards design. So it has been influenced by many researchers and has existed for over 75 years. And we're going to use a model by Grant Wiggins and J. McTeague. There's two pictures of them here. So let's look at the stages of backwards design. Does anyone know kind of the 3 stages of backwards design? So stage 1, you think of the end. So what is your desired result at the end? What do you want your students to be able to do at the end? Stage 2, you think of what evidence do you need to make sure, check that they've reached that. How are you going to assess that they reached that kind of result? And then after that, you plan each of your lesson plans or daily activities to reach that end result to be assessed. So those are your 3 kind of stages. So you can look at it this way. If the desired result for the students to be able to, so what will the students be able to do by the end of the course? So this teacher needs to assess students' abilities too. So how are you going to assess their ability by the end of that course or for that result? And then what activities and content must be used to reach that end goal? Why is backwards design effective? Does anyone know why is it effective?
Applicable. Backward design, after the learning, student can apply their
Yeah.
knowledge in the real life.
Yes, it's very like real life applicable because you're thinking about what they need and what they will need to apply in the future. And then you're using your lesson plans to meet that need. Yeah, it prepares students for real life, definitely. Promotes intentionality and focus in all class activities. So everything is focused on that end goal. It helps teachers think about why each activity is important, and it gives a sense of purpose. So I'm doing this activity because it matches with that end goal. Students gain knowledge and skills that can be used in real life because you're thinking about the end goal. Okay, so the first stage of backwards design is identify desired results. So in this stage, you need to create goals that are practical and transferable to real life. So you think of your end result, how can it relate to real life?
Yes.
And then choose knowledge and skills that students will use in reaching that goal. And then also make sure, obviously, that your goals align with your school program, with the national standard, the quality assessment, quality management, whatever, the QMS. So making sure it aligns with everything that is required.
Quality assurance system.
So what are strong and weak goals? So I don't know, we haven't really got into them yet. So we're not really looking at like a lesson objective, but we're looking a broader scale. So we're looking at for a whole course, what goals do we need for a whole course? So these might be similar to your course outcomes. So when you're looking at your whole course, a strong goal will promote deep understanding. It's not just surface level, it's like critical thinking skills, and it contains transferable knowledge and skills. They're practical in real life. They can apply them in real life, can be applied in multiple situations. A weak goal, it's just surface level knowledge, and it's too specific or narrow for a whole program or course. Okay, so we're going to do a poll. I would like you to tell me if the goal is strong or weak for a course or program goal. Just 2 seconds. Okay, students will list the name of people who played important roles in Myanmar's independence. Is this a strong goal or a weak goal? So remember, we're thinking a whole course. We'll give you about 1 minute to answer. Four, three, two, one. So yes, this is a weak goal. This might be an okay goal for like 1 hour, one like lesson maybe, or even,
Yes.
and not even a very like critical, not even a lesson including a higher order thinking skills. But this might be for 1 hour, not a whole course. This is not enough for a whole course. Okay, next one. Is this a strong or weak goal? Students will consider the following questions in class and in real life contexts. Whose history is this? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Yes, I would say this is a strong goal. It's quite broad, but it's quite in depth. It would take a lot of kind of critical thinking, higher order thinking skills, but it's broad enough for a whole course. And I don't know if you, Mo'u actually has a textbook that I feel like would fit this quite well because it talks about Myanmar history from different perspectives. So you're looking at, it goes through from this perspective or from this perspective, and then gets people to analyze the different perspectives related to history in Myanmar. Let's look at the next one. Students will be able to use a scientific method to test theories and hypotheses. Oops. Is that strong or weak? Okay, 2, 1. Okay, yes, I would agree. This is a strong one. It's pretty broad, but it still would involve a lot of kind of figuring things out, critical thinking skills. They'd have to be able to test theories, that type of thing. This one, chemistry. Students will be able to match the symbols of the elements with their place on the periodic table. Is this strong or weak for a whole course goal?
Just video the table.
I think everyone's voted. Okay, so this is weak. Again, this doesn't take a lot of critical thinking skills. It's memorization for the most part. And they could probably do this in maybe one lesson. Memorize it in one lesson or memorize it for homework. So it's not enough of a goal for one whole program or course. Strong or weak? Students will be able to identify examples of rhetorical devices in The Great Gatsby. Great Gatsby is a book, in case, I don't know if you knew, if people read it in Myanmar. Okay. I would say this is pretty weak still. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take a lot of time to do this. Might take a little bit of time to read the book, but identifying rhetorical devices, it's too narrow. It's not wide enough for a whole course. Is this strong or weak? Students will be able to use a variety of devices in writing to persuade an audience on any given topic. So again, for a whole course, is this a strong or weak goal? Or like learning objective? Or probably, I think in the ones I've seen in Myanmar, they call it learning outcome. Four, three, two, one. Yes, so this is a strong one. So they can learn about different devices, and they have to be able to apply the different devices and on different topics. So that's pretty strong. Okay. Strong or weak? Students will be able to use the internet to find and evaluate sources so that they can conduct research. Okay, good. This is strong. Okay. But this one, is it strong or weak? Students will be able to type 50 words per minute with 85% accuracy. Three, two, one. Okay, this is weak. Yeah, it wouldn't take a lot of critical thinking skills for this. It's not really like very deep. It's kind of a shallow, very shallow goal. Okay. In groups, you will write a strong goal. So you can think of a course that you're doing and you can work together to write a strong goal. Then fill in the chart to list the stages of backwards design for your goal. So let's look here. So an example. Goal, students will be able to safely drive a car. If the desired result is for students to be able to safely drive a car, then teachers need to assess students' ability to interpret road signs and follow the laws when driving. Then the class activities and course content must show students what the road signs look like and teach students the laws. So that is what you need to do, is you need to come up with the goal first, and then how will it be assessed? And then what activities will you do to meet that kind of assessment or goal? So here's the Pear Deck, and I'm going to go to it as well. So you work in your groups. There's the example. So think of a strong goal for a course. Be any course. Okay. And then if the desired result is for students to be able to, then teachers need to assess students' ability to, then the class activities and course content must, blah, blah, blah. So if maybe for the introduction to teaching and training adults, maybe it could be students will be able to use basic adult education, basic teaching skills to teach a lesson, something like that. If the desired result is for students to be able to teach, let's say just teach a basic lesson, we'll be able to use basic teaching methods to teach a lesson, maybe like that. Then teachers need us to assess students' abilities to use basic teaching methods. Then the class activities and course content must teach basic education theories and teaching methods. Okay, so work in your groups to come up with that. I will give you 15 minutes to work on it. So I'll make 3 groups and you have 15 minutes and then come back. Hey, Kathleen, would you like to share the music?
Cream? Okay, sure.
Oh, did you ask a question or did you need help?
Hello?
Hello, did you need help?
Yes, teacher. Hello, teacher.
Yes?
Yes, teacher. I'm using from both the laptop. Now I'm in group and in the other group.
Oh, okay. I'll put you in both. I'll put you in
Yes.
this one as well then. Okay.
That's because of internet connection here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I think now you can join this group from both.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, dear.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. So let's look at some of the goals. Students will be able to create the letter very well. This might be a little bit too narrow because it probably wouldn't take you a whole course to make a letter. So if you're thinking of a course, maybe make it a little bit broader, like students will be able to use different writing techniques or something like that, or be able to write in different forms. Apply LMS knowledge in real life. I think that's pretty good. Students will be able to use present tense, past tense, and future tense in any situation. Any situation might be a bit broad, but you could say in real life situations or something like that. Okay, good. Be able to use the LMS knowledge in their future. Yeah, maybe not in their future, but in maybe in real life or real life practices. Yeah, and then the teacher needs to assess students' ability to implement the process of LMS in their activities skillfully. Yeah, I think this would be for a teacher. So then the class activities and course content must practice LMS activities, do self-paced learning, submit assignments. Yeah, that'd probably be fine. Maybe be a little bit more specific about what about LMS? What about the learning management system needs to be learned?
Learning management system, sir, teacher.
I know. I just mean for the last one, like what specifically would you want to be learning about the learning management system? If the desired result is for students to be able to speak language fluently in real life, good. That might not be a possible goal. I don't know. It might be a bit unrealistic. It might be a bit too broad. Then teachers need to assess students' ability to use functional language while speaking. Yeah. So I think, yeah, maybe the first goal could be more about functional language. Then the class activities and course content must teach various functional language for speaking. Yeah, I think that's fine. If this desired result is for students to be able to participate actively in writing process, I think that's pretty good. And teachers need to assess students' ability to improve their writing through assignments. Yeah, so you could give like different types of writing assignments. Then the class activities and course content must be included, the steps how to write the letter very well. So I wouldn't just focus on letters, maybe make this a little bit more varied on the different types of writing that could be done. The desired result is for students to be able to use present tense, past tense, and future tense in any situation. Any situation might be a little bit too broad, but in everyday situations, then teachers need to assess students' ability to fill in the gap, the conversation, quizzes. I think that might fall more under under activities, because quizzes and the gaps might fall a bit more under activities. You could say maybe ability to use present tense, past tense, and future tense in different situations, or then the class activities and course content must maybe involve group work, pair work, telling stories, using the tenses, filling in the gaps of conversation, quizzes. I think that would be kind of. If the desired result is for students to be able to raise their awareness of the target language, I think that might be too broad. Which target language and how much? It's just a little bit too broad. Then teachers need to assess students' ability to upgrade their skills. Yeah. Yeah, then the class activities and course content, it must be adjustable, yes. I would think a little bit more specific than that. Like if we go back to the example, so if you see here, the activities are pretty specific. So you show students the road signs, you teach students the law, that type of thing. So sometimes try and make it a little bit more specific. Okay. So review question for anyone that wants to answer. You can either tell me or type in the chat box. What is backward design and why is it important? Anyone?
Focus students go.
Yep.
Backward design, focus student goal. It is important because learning in real life. So student needs or student desire is applicable their life.
Yeah, so yeah, it's applicable to their life. Yeah, and then someone just wrote realistic design focus on the result. Yes, yeah. So how well do you understand backwards design? So not at all, a little bit, somewhat, quite well, or extremely well, or you can type in the chat box on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. So show of fingers. See 4, 4. Okay, excellent. Let me look at 4, 3, 4, 4, 4. Okay, so people are starting to get it. We're going to continue looking at it in more detail in the next couple of weeks. So this unit, we're going to be looking kind of at backwards design goals and how you can create backwards design goals. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to put the feedback form in the chat box. And I will also email it out. And I will also email out the link to the Google Classroom. And next week, we're going to look at specific goals. We're going to look at transfer goals. So in the next few weeks, we're going to look at different types of goals that you can make for your course. Okay, and if you have any more questions or if you want to read more about it, here are some resources. So I'll share these on the Google Classroom if you would like, and you can find them from there. Okay, does anyone have any questions?
I will ask next week.
Okay,
I
sounds
want to
good.
know. Yeah, I think it's more questions next week.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, if we're finished then, so thank you very much, everyone, and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Teacher Lisa.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.